But I think at the end of the day, people want to talk to people. Most people get tripped up in sales. The tactics and the strategies that they were teaching felt manipulative. They felt pushy. Most business owners hate the idea of selling because they think it's supposed to be a tug of war and you're supposed to convince, manipulate, and push people into buying. And because there's so many bad behaving salespeople out there, sales gets this really bad rap because most people are like, oh, I can't stand salespeople. It gives you the opportunity to really shine. So the way I've always looked at sales is, how do I prevent the objection? And preventing the objection means we've got to have a disarmingly honest conversation about what are the things that could get in the way of them buying from me. It's not my job to convince him of anything. He's got to convince himself. So let me just see if that urgency is there.
Hey everyone, I want to welcome you all today once again to Jill Collins Connections. I have the most amazing friend of mine, and okay, I always say the best person. I always give you the best of the best, right? The summit, the best, the top, the cream of the creme de la creme. That's right. It's Keeley Hubbard. Keeley is the best salesperson I've ever met in my life. And you say, best salesperson? Who would want to know the best salesperson? I'm telling you, I have been through more sales trainings, more courses where I'm like, I would rather, like, I don't know, probably be locked in jail than have to do sales. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know if that's my thing. But Keeley made me absolutely fall in love with sales. I still don't do it regularly, but I tell you what, I have to tell, she just makes it palatable. It's giving someone a gift. And so I want to take this time to just share my dear friend Keeley Hubbard with you all. Welcome, Keeley, to the show.
Thank you, Jill. I'm so grateful that we met. I don't know how long it's been, but I'm like, man, God brings you really cool people in your life, and you're one of those people for me. So thank you for having me. I'm excited about this.
Yeah, we met at Business Mastery at Tony Robbins back in 2018, I think it was. So it's been about 5 years now.
Okay.
And we started a group for women together, the Lionesses, and met actually almost 3 years, I think, virtually every week without fail. And even we met twice in person. So that was really fun. So building connection, building community was great. And getting to know you really was something that we actually talked about starting a business together at one time as well. And now you're up to some amazing things, and you always are. And so I'd love to share with everyone this concept of, some people might be going like, oh, I'm going to watch another video. I don't care about sales. But let me tell you something. We're all selling all the time. You taught me that. We're selling even when we don't even think we're selling. And it's a concept. What did you say? It's a life skill.
It's a survival skill. If you're a business owner, selling is a survival skill in your business. There's no way to escape selling as a business owner. And if you're not in business, if you can learn how to sell, which I believe anybody can, you'll never be without income. You'll never be without a job. You have a skill set that has a very high pay structure because not everybody can do it. So I really believe that sales skills can take you so far in life. You can do whatever you want to do if you can learn how to sell.
And what kind of money, what is it that people can do? I'm thinking of someone who maybe is an introvert, who's afraid to put themselves out there. They consider themselves not very social.
Mm-hmm.
Can anyone sell? Can anyone be a salesperson?
Yes. Yeah. And I've got proof of that. When I left corporate, I was VP of sales for a financial education company. So we were selling high ticket packages from $15,000 to $75,000 to consumers, right? B2C. And the top sales rep in the company out of 600 people was an introvert, and he was probably making $600,000-$700,000 a year. And I know people that are in the millions in terms of their sales commissions. So it depends on the industry that you're in, but you can make a lot of money being in sales. And he's an introvert, but he really learned how to adjust in conversations. He learned people, why they think and act the way they do, how they make decisions, how to draw that out in a conversation. And even though he's an introvert, he learned how to adapt in conversations. If maybe he's talking to you, Jill, you're not an introvert and you're more of a kind of get to the point, you're more of a direct communicator. And he learned how to adapt, where if you were talking to him, you would never know that his personality type is much more reserved and slow to talk, slow to process, slow to think, because he learned how to think on his feet and just adjust and be a chameleon. So yes, anybody can learn how to do it, and you can make a lot of money selling.
Wow. Okay. So it doesn't require a degree. Someone doesn't have to have a college degree. They don't have to be a certain age. They don't have to have any prerequisite. They can sell.
Yeah.
So it's a really great opportunity. And something occurred to me earlier as well as you were saying that, is that with AI coming into play now, is sales going to be obsolete someday? Are we losing this industry, or is it going to be more important than ever?
I don't think so. I think everybody has opinions about AI. I certainly have quite a lot around it. But I think at the end of the day, people want to talk to people. And because there's so many bad behaving salespeople out there, sales gets this really bad rap because most people are like, oh, I can't stand salespeople. It gives you the opportunity to really shine. And I think capture a large part of the market in whatever industry you're in, because you're doing the exact opposite of what typical salespeople do. You'll be a breath of fresh air. And that's what I teach. I've been called the anti-saleswoman, and I wear that with honor.
Definitely are. I remember I did, when you first started one of your training programs, you let us go in and you were testing it out, and I went through it with you, and I learned so much. Can you give us a couple tips? I looked at something on your Instagram I saw posted, and you definitely, everyone, we're going to drop the links for how to reach Keeley. She has a great program for high ticket sales, and she also works with people one-on-one, and she's also building out some other really cool programs. So you can find her. She also has a podcast, which is really killer. What's the name of the podcast again?
Standing in the Arena.
Standing in the Arena. Oh, I love that. I love that. And I actually was watching one of your podcasts or listening to it, and I went, oh my God, Keeley, I need to reach out to her. And so that's how we got back connected again. So yeah, so I'm thinking, like, what are some of the things that, give us some tips. Like the Instagram, you had something like 5 things, and I can't remember what they are, but you were saying, like, what are the things that you need to have? Can you go into that if you can remember, or you have some thoughts there?
Yeah, I think where most people get tripped up in sales is, and they hate it. Most business owners don't like doing it. They shy away from it. Like you mentioned, they've been through a ton of sales trainings before. I have as well, when I was in corporate and selling. And when I first started out, my family owned a franchise of this company, and I would sit in sales trainings, and I'm like, does that really work? Like, the tactics and the strategies that they were teaching felt manipulative. They felt pushy. It was like, let's reverse psychology and let's try this trick and that trick. And I was like, that's not me. And it made me feel cheap. And I'm also think a little bit of a rebel. It's like, I'm not doing that. I'm going to figure it out on my own. And so where most business owners get tripped up is they hate the idea of selling because they think it's supposed to be a tug of war, and you're supposed to convince and manipulate and push people into buying. And I hate that. And the way that I look at sales, if you think of objections, people always brace themselves for objections. What are all the reasons somebody's not going to buy from me, and how do I overcome that objection? That creates the tug of war. So the way I've always looked at sales is, how do I prevent the objection? And preventing the objection means we've got to have a disarmingly honest conversation about what are the things that could get in the way of them buying from me. And let's talk through it. Is it a spouse? Is it time? And if it is time, and I'll give you an example of a man that I was working with when I was selling high ticket financial education. He was an ER physician, wanted to learn more about how to trade the financial markets. And I was really excited about it. But in my mind, I'm like, you're an ER physician, you're on call 24, I think his shifts were 24 hours, and you can get called in at any point. And I said, okay, there's something we should probably talk about, like time. How in the world are you going to make time for this? And he was like, yeah, I am really busy. So let me introduce the potential objection and let's talk through it together, instead of not dealing with it, pretending it's not there, and then waiting until the very end of the conversation when it's time for him to make a decision. He says, I'm really busy. And then me trying to overcome that and convince him otherwise. And then he thinks I'm just trying to sell him. So I would rather bring up, what are all the issues that could get in the way of us working together, and let's talk through it together. And it may not work, and that's okay, but let's have a real conversation about it. And I think if you can look at sales like that, like disarmingly honest conversations with it, it takes all the pressure off. It's not my job to convince him of anything. He's got to convince himself. So let me just see if that urgency is there.
Wow. I love that. And that's what's so key, is you don't wait and pounce at the end, because then it's too late. You're having to almost unravel something that they've already decided, or you can't go backwards. So you blow that up, or like dissolve that early on in the discussion.
Yeah, one of my sales mentors a long time ago said, look at it like a scavenger hunt. You're looking for all the landmines. What are all the landmines that could blow up this deal? And let's dig them all up and let's defuse the bomb before it blows up the deal. Wow. And that was like, okay, what are all the, every time I lost a sale, I promised myself I will not lose the same sale twice. So if I lost a sale, it was like, okay, what did I screw up? It wasn't the buyer's fault. It was my fault. What did I mess up? What questions did I forget to ask? And I lost a sale that was extremely painful. I think I've done a podcast episode on it in my sales career. And I was like, man, I messed up every possible thing. I'm like, I didn't ask these questions. These are all the reasons why. And she paid, right? She bought financial education. I want to say she invested 50 grand in her education. So she spent quite a bit of money. But then she called me, I think it was a week and a half later. crap at the fan in her life and she was overwhelmed, stressed out because I didn't ask those questions. And if I had asked those questions and talked to her about what else is going on in her life and how is she going to make this work, I probably could have found a way to fit it in where she didn't get overwhelmed. So it's always our fault. That's probably maybe hard to accept, but that's something else a really good sales coach told me years ago. He was like, there's no such thing as bad prospects, only bad salespeople.
Ooh.
You're right. You got to take responsibility that I screwed it up. So I've got to get better at asking questions.
That's really good. And so I would love to know what some of the questions would be. And I want to dive into that. One of the things I was just thinking, I found it is the two things you said in a recent post is 2 reasons why somebody isn't ready to buy from you. One is they don't fully understand their problem. I'm like, oh, I'm thinking of myself being the person who's being sold to, and how many times that has been true in my life. And number 2, you said they don't see you as a solution because you aren't.
That's it. That's what it's not money, time, all the objections that we typically think they are. If somebody fully understands their problem and the cost of doing nothing is so much greater than them investing time and money to do it, then they'll figure out how to work through a spouse objecting to it, how to find the money, how to find the time. But it always comes back to pain. Is it strong enough? Does it hurt bad enough that they want to fix it? And you can't make the assumption that they fully understand their issue. That's where questions come into play. If you go to the doctor because your back hurts, the doctor asks you like hundreds of questions. How bad does it hurt? How long does it hurt? On a scale of 1 to 10, is it sharp pain, dull pain? Where does it hurt? Show me. Lean to the right, lean to the left. Like I have back problems, so I've dealt with this. But we have to think of ourselves in sales like a doctor and don't commit sales malpractice by jumping straight to, I can help you, without fully understanding the problem and asking all these questions. Because when they hear themselves talking through what's not working, why it's not working, how much it's cost them, what happens if they do nothing, and they're verbalizing it, now you can really tell if there's urgency to fix it. And most salespeople tell them what's wrong. If you don't do something different, you're going to lose $100,000 next year. Your business could go under. This is the economy we're in, and nobody wants to be told what to do. So we have to learn how to ask questions like a coach. I know it's what you are, Jill. We don't tell people how to fix their life. We ask questions to help them get to that conclusion on their own. And being really good in sales comes back to asking really good questions.
Wow. Being really good in sales comes back to asking really good questions. And I think that's where I always get stuck in these other programs I was in about sales, is you get a laundry list of things to ask them to try to chip away at their pain points. Mm-hmm. What would happen if you don't do this? How's your wife going to feel about things in life? Are you going to have your house 6 months from now? It's what? Mm-hmm. What happens if the power goes out and you can't pay the electric bill? I'm like, oh man, I can't take people down there.
Because it's set up. They feel like they're being set up.
It feels icky. And so I'm being suggestive in ways that it may be true. And have you ever had that thing where someone points out something about you that you know is true and you're like, and then you get pissed off because they point it out? I got to find it out for myself and then be willing to go and look at it and go, yeah, you know what? I guess I do probably have a little bit of a problem with that. I probably need to stop eating Doritos because that's probably because I'm gaining weight. But if someone goes, stop eating Doritos, or you'll never lose weight. You're like, oh, fine, get out of here. And you got to figure it out. And so I think that is so cool. What you said is asking the questions so they can see it for themselves.
Mm-hmm. And not leading.
Nothing that's on your little list of all these possibilities. It may not be the electric bill.
And I think consumers are triggered these days. That's not a word that I love, but they are. Their walls are up, their antennas are up, waiting for the pitch, waiting for the close, waiting for the typical sales behavior. And when we ask setup questions like that, it's like leading the witness, right? If you're in a trial, you're leading the witness. What would happen if the stock market goes down 20%? And it's so obvious what you're trying to get them to tell you instead of really asking open-ended questions. One of my favorite questions to ask is,
let's do that. Yeah, let's talk about what are the questions.
I frame it. So after we've had a good conversation about what's not working, why it's not working, all the things they've done to try to fix it. Why didn't that work? How much does it cost them? What happens if they do nothing? I want to figure out commitment. So at some point I'll say, Jill, I got to ask you a tough question. Are you up for that? Because it anchors their awareness and now they're listening. And I'll say on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, I'll probably be dealing with this problem a year from now. And 10 being, I've got to fix this no matter what, and I'm willing to do what it takes. Where do you see yourself? And before you answer, don't worry about what I think. I don't care what your number is. It needs to be the real number. And then just pause and see what they say. Because I don't want them to think, oh, if I say 10, then she's going to come in for the close. But I've done nothing in that conversation to ever make them feel like I'm coming in for the close. In fact, in the very beginning of the conversation, I started it out by saying, Jill, we may have a great conversation today, but at some point you might think, you know what? I just don't feel like this is the right fit. You don't think I'm the right person to help you. Are you going to be okay telling me that? And they always say yes. They're like, yeah, of course. Are you sure? You seem like a nice woman. Say we've just met for the first time. Well, yeah, I'll tell you that. So I've already disarmed them. Like, it's okay to tell me no. And then I say the flip side of that is maybe after I understand what you're hoping to accomplish and the challenges you're experiencing, maybe I realize it's just not the right fit from my perspective and the types of clients that I work with. Are you going to be okay if I tell you that? Like, yeah, I hope you would. Perfect. And you know what? We may have an awesome conversation and we figure out together, yeah, this could be a great fit. And if we get to that point, we'll talk about what those next steps look like. Are you comfortable with that? And if I start it off like that and I disarm people, they're never going to feel like the close is coming. So I can ask really tough questions about how committed are they on a scale of 1 to 10. And before you answer, don't say what you think I want you to say. What's the real number? So does that help? There's never this impending close that's coming.
Yeah.
We start off the conversation.
Yeah. And then as you're going through the process, what are some of the things you do to try to diagnose, as you said, like a doctor? What are some of the key, for those listening who are wanting to get into sales, what are some of the key things that you do differently, these questions that you ask that might be unique?
I start off with what I call a pain commercial, which is why other people reach out to me, the challenges that they're dealing with. Because when you ask somebody, like, what's not working in your business that made you want to call me? That's like an invasive question. It's hard for them to say, I really screwed this up. And then I paid this amount of money for a marketing company and we're bleeding out financially. We've only got 3 months left. They're not going to say that. So instead, I'll start it off and say, Jill, I talk to business owners, multiple business owners a week. And the challenges that I'm typically hearing from them is lately they've got a lot of leads coming through, but their close rate is pretty low. And they're really focused on investing quite a bit of money on the front end, trying to get more leads in, but it's just not turning into new sales. Other business owners I talk to hate sales. It just, everything about it makes them want to cringe. And so now they're trying to hire salespeople and they've hired a couple and they've had a high turnover, but the revenue, the number's still not moving. Is any of that relevant? So give them examples of what other business owners are going through that you're talking to, whatever industry you're in. What are the pain points that people that are reaching out to you, what are they going through? And then ask that question, is any of that relevant? Because that'll help you get into a conversation about what's not working. And once they say, yeah, I've been selling for a while and I hired a couple sales guys and they've been performing okay, but it's not really working out. Hey, I get it. I hear that a lot. Can you give me more detail into that? What's going on? Can you give me a recent example? Because it's like the doctor. Where does it hurt? How bad does it hurt? Is it dull pain? Is it sharp pain? Have you tried to do anything to fix it? What happened when you tried that? What did you see about what I do or how I coach that made you want to reach out? How do you think I can help you? What do you think it's going to take to fix this problem? There's every question that you can think of. It's remaining skeptical and curious in the conversation. That's your goal as a salesperson. It's a scavenger hunt. And I've got to remain skeptical and curious. And the first point that I have to qualify in, do they have a compelling reason? And a compelling reason is a reason that's strong enough that they're willing to pay you big money to help them and invest the time that's required to fix it. That's what I'm looking for first. Before we ever get to, are they financially qualified? Who's involved in the decisions? Because if this doesn't exist, the compelling reason, that's like the fuel. If you look at your potential client traveling through your sales process in a car, what makes a car move is fuel. And if there's no fuel, the car's not going to move. The pain is the fuel. It doesn't matter if they're financially qualified, the spouse is on board, you do this amazing pitch of all the things that you do and how you can help them. If the compelling reason isn't there, there's zero urgency for them to do it now. And you're going to end up with objections like, this sounds great. Let me think about it, or let me talk to my wife. And it has nothing to do with, let me think about it, or let me talk to my wife. It has everything to do with, they don't think they really have a problem that deserves the attention and financial commitment that's required to fix it, because we missed the first qualification. Let me pause because I could talk about this.
Oh, I keep going. I'm loving this. I'm loving this because I'm gonna be definitely taking some clips and sharing these as reels as well, because I think there's so much there. That's why I'm not interrupting, partly but I'm just nodding in my head going, oh, yeah. Because this is where you're golden. This is where I went, what? And I was leaning in when I first heard you teach this, is the scavenger hunt and the questions. And then the compelling reason is so key, because I think sometimes people they're almost, aren't they, in denial about things?
Yeah.
And they will mask, it could be anything. Like for me, when I do dating coaching or relationships coaching, it's, oh, I'm okay. And then they
Mhm.
direct their attention to something else to avoid it. And then
Yeah.
just getting worse and worse. And so really, sales is almost, I hate to say it could be a ministry. It could be it's a purpose-based business. It's really helping people uncover what's going on with their lives. It can be a little bit of therapy in a way,
Oh,
can it?
yeah,
On the internet.
absolutely. There's been so many conversations that I've had, even when I was in my early 20s and I was selling financial education, of men that were twice my age in my office in tears about the state of their finances and mistakes that they had made. And I had to make it a comfortable place where they're not the only person that's been through this. And a lot of it is not their fault. So making it a safe place for your potential client to open up about what isn't working is so crucial. So if they tell you, yeah, we've had a few really rough months. It's, hey, I get it. I hear that almost every day. I was talking to a business owner last week that they're in a tough spot too. Can you give me some more detail? What's going on? And it's that first part. It's confirming you're not alone in this, but let's figure it out. And I think a lot of your success, I know a lot of your success in sales is managing what goes on between your ears, because if you're in a place in your business where you're like, I gotta close this person, and you have all this stress leading up to your 11 a.m. call because I have to close this person. I've got to hit this close rate. This money's got to come in because I got to pay the bills. And it's all this pressure in your mind. You're not going to have a conversation that's real and honest and raw with that person because you're so attached to the outcome. And it's like the tighter you hold on to something, nothing can come in your hand when you're holding on this tight. I was at church, this was probably a decade ago, and the pastor was like, so many of you are holding on so tight to what you have that God can't give you more. And if you just open your hand, and let abundance flow in and out. And if you look at it like that in sales, I'm going to go into this call with my hand open. I don't know if I can help this person. I don't know if they're the right fit, but I know that God's sending me the right clients I'm supposed to work with. And I'm just going to maintain this abundance attitude. If I'm supposed to help them, I will. And let's just talk about it. And if you can, and it's easier said than done, especially when you really need the money, but that's when it counts, is when people don't feel desperation, people don't feel that you are attached to them saying yes or no, is when you can really serve people. So it's a practice. You got to every single day manage what happens between your ears to be successful in sales.
Oh, mindset. It's mindset. Oh, wow. Yeah. And I love that about this whole thing with being desperate. You can sense it with people.
Yeah.
And at some point too, it's so much, because I'm all about love relationships and thinking about this too, is that I usually parallel that with others like this, is that we're clinging to someone that we really want to be with. And then we're offering and we're compromising ourselves. And it's, at what point do you start losing your sense of self, your dignity, for me in a relationship, it'd be like your soul, you're like honoring your soul, honoring your heart. And when we start compromising and saying, oh, you know what, I'm going to find another way to make sure I can get this person. But it's the same with sales, is that at what point do you offer discounts? You say, when someone says, I know when I had my first coach after my husband passed away 7 years ago, I love this woman, she's a friend. And I said to her, she threw out this huge price for me at the time. And I wasn't used to how much coaching was back then. Actually, I can look at it now and say that was actually a really good deal. But I said, oh my God, I can't afford that. And she said, what can you afford? And at that point, something in my head went, she's amazing, but she wasn't as amazing to me because she offered me a discount. And she said, what can you afford to pay? So I know she was doing me a favor, but I'm saying all this psychologically is trying to get to the point of what do we do with discounts? What do we do? We want to help people and we don't want to miss a sale, or we're, like you said, we're desperate and we've got to, keep the lights on, or we've got to pay rent or whatever it is. And if we don't get this sale, we're in trouble. So you do deal with all that.
I don't discount because the minute you discount what you're offering, you are disrespecting every single person that has come before them, and you had them pay, say it's 15 grand, and now you're going to give it to this person for 13. Where's the integrity? And you can't build a business without integrity. You will never build a long-lasting business where your clients are referral machines if you don't have integrity. And so if you are talking to somebody that says, I can't afford that, the questions you should be asking is, afford from, you don't see the value in it, so it's hard to find the money, or there's no money and there's no way to find resources to pay for it. Get the clarity. Is it they don't, because listen, if somebody said this is $40,000 and I don't feel like I need the coaching, I'd probably say, this is not in my budget right now. I got 40 grand, but if I don't see the value of what they're offering, I don't really understand my problem. So we got to get clarity. Where's that coming from? And if you really want to help somebody and they want to work with you and they can't afford 10 grand, but they can afford 5, that's where you have to decide, do I want to work with this person? Don't give them what you would normally give for 10 grand for 5. They have to give back. We could find a way to work together, but it's going to be 5 sessions instead of 10 sessions. And my only concern in doing that is I don't feel like I'm doing you the best service of really moving you to the next level in your life, because I don't have the time with you that I need, that I've had with other clients. So it's like, you have to, am I compromising my product? You are your product. So if you're going to be willing to work with somebody for half the amount of time than you do somebody else because their budget is half, are they really going to get the result? And are you just taking the money to take the money?
That is the best answer I've ever heard on that, ever.
Thank you.
I'm
You
serious.
hold the line.
Because it makes sense. It just feels
Mhm.
right. Everything you always say to me just always feels so right in my gut, in my heart, my intuitions. Yeah, it's like the integrity. And so it's, yes, you could do the disc. If someone can't afford 5,000, you give it to them for 2,500, then you cut the offer, the product, the amount, what they get. It's not apples to apples at that point, because I am betraying, or I'm not in integrity with those people that paid the full price. It makes so much sense.
Yeah. And when people ask you, if you ask for a discount, if somebody asks you for a discount, you say, yeah, I can do it for this amount, all of a sudden they lose trust. It doesn't mean you're going to close the deal. And all of a sudden they lose trust with you and you just commoditize yourself, where in the future, you've trained them to negotiate with you. So you're going to deal with price issues nonstop when you do that. It's no, I don't offer discounts. That's just not how I run my business. But can you help me understand, when you say you can't afford it, does that mean you don't see the value in it, or how it could help you to where you're not willing to find the resources, or there's no possibility of finding the resources to work with me? Let's talk through that. Because if it is the value issue, we miss something. If they don't see the value in how you can help them, they're not willing to go find the money. But if they're literally there's so many resources out there if you want to do a coaching program, you can go get a 0% credit card for 18 months. I self-financed my business in the beginning when I first started. So I have a hard time with anybody who says they can't find the resources. I'm like, I found the resources. I put the work in. I found a way to finance myself to get where I wanted to go. But if somebody maybe has credit that's so bad they can't even get a line of credit, they can't do it, you shouldn't be working with them. They're not the right client. They need to do some more work financially to get to a place where they're working with you and they're not desperate. When we have desperation, I got to close this deal, so I'm willing to discount. You also have a client that's desperate. And I don't want to work with people that are desperate for results, because it's going to mess with their mind. There's so much psychology that comes into play here when there's desperation involved. And you have to believe that God, the universe, whatever you believe in, I'm a believer. I believe in Jesus. So I'm like, Lord, send me the people I'm supposed to work with. And I believe that the right clients will find me. I write that down in my journal every morning. The perfect clients that I want to work with are on their way to find me, and they can't wait to pay me big money to help them in their business. And I believe that. And anybody else that comes to me that can't afford it, or it's not the right fit, it's my responsibility to leave them in a better place after I talk to them, whether it's inspiring hope that they can do this, giving them the confidence, giving them some free resources. Are they better off after talking to me, even though they haven't worked with me? That's really business. That's the soul of business. You and I were in Business Mastery, and Tony says that. He's like, business is such a game of the heart and of the soul. And how are we impacting people, even if they don't become a paying client?
Are they better off after having worked with me? That is my mantra all the time about everybody. Is I truly believe in my heart, for me personally, that every single person I come in contact with that has any time they spend with me always walks away better than they were before they came. In some way, they've learned something, they've met someone, they've connected in some way, they've gotten something that they go, wow, their life is better. I have always know that. And so to me, that's the thing, is learning right now. That's what I'm learning at my age today, is really honing in on those people and asking God. And God, I've missed you. I still love hanging out and hearing. I know you sent me your journal page at one time, and I have to find that again, because I know you sent it to me, and it was so cool about what your prayer is and your thought is every day. Is that thing about send me the right clients that I need to serve that are here. I think that applies in relationships, it applies in everything, is that sometimes we get so hung up on not getting that person we want in our lives, whether it be a sale or whether it be a relationship or whether it be a job offer, or it could be anything, is that it happens for a reason, and it's not rejection. It's actually God steering us away from
Yeah.
where we're supposed to be. We've put an intention. If we don't believe in God that way, there's also the energy. We are putting energy out there that is literally magnifying and detracting what we are not putting out there. So that is what, two ways to look at it, depending on how you believe. But I think that's so true, was that it's not, this is along the same lines, but I have a coach who I've been working with who recently was talking to me about the pattern that a lot of people run, especially women, is this pattern of not being chosen and what that does for us. And so I've been really playing with that a lot in meditation and prayer. Is the idea of not being chosen is, it's not a negative. It's not that we have to get off of the defense and get on the offense. It's no, actually that was meant to be. That was my soul not choosing them. That person walked away or didn't come towards, because that was not what I was supposed to have. I literally subconsciously, I put in my heart that I didn't want that kind of thing in my life. And that was answered prayer. That was not I didn't get what I wanted.
Yeah.
So we have to be so conscious of that. And I think that I love that about psychology with sales with you, because it applies to everything in life.
It does. And I think when you put all this pressure on yourself and you attach yourself to outcomes, this sale has to close, I have to hit X amount of revenue this month, this post has to go viral, whatever it is that you're working on in your business, you steal all the joy from the process. There's no fun in it anymore. And if we're not in business to enjoy life and have a good time, what are we really doing? One of my business coaches that I hired 2 years ago, that was a big shift for me, because I was at a place in my business where hustle, like I am a hustler. I came from corporate, traveling 23 days a month, working 7 days a week, built my career. I know hustle. And I know you have that background too, Jill. You know how to hustle, you know how to make things happen. And I created the same mental prison for myself in my business where it was not fun anymore. And what's the point? What's the point of being in business for yourself? If you want to be stressed out, stressed to the max, go back to corporate. That's always available. So why not create something where there's joy involved and there's peace and it's excitement and there's not as much stress? And I understand there's stress as a business owner, especially when you have families that are on the payroll. But if you can detach yourself from the outcome and realize everything's always working in your favor, the right clients are on their way to find you. Your single responsibility is to show up and share your message. And showing up, I think, for a lot of people is the hard part, especially showing up small if they're just getting started. People embarrassed to be seen small, right? With 2 people on a live or 3 people in their program or 2 likes on their post. But we all have to go through that phase. And you're never going to get to the business that you really want to build if you aren't willing to show up consistently. And I know a lot of business owners struggle. I just struggle with that. Is anybody watching my podcast? Does anybody care? Does anybody really want to hear this? And then God sends you these little reminders of, man, that really changed everything for me. It's okay. I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed to be sharing my message. I make an impact and I change lives. And if God's given you a gift, which he's given all of us, no matter what business you're in, it is your responsibility to share it. That's why we're on this earth. So we have to show up. And if we can maintain joy in the process and that peace of mind and let go of the outcomes, they got open the doors I'm supposed to walk through, slam the doors that where I'm not supposed to be, then it's easier to not internalize rejection or internalize somebody saying no, or somebody not working with you, or a partnership not working out, because you're like, no, that's God's gentle guiding me to where I'm supposed to be. And that's really helped me a whole lot find the joy in business again these last 2 years.
Yeah. And finding the joy in business, because I think so much of it is when it ends up being a grind, it's like we end up being, we're an employee to ourselves. I want to be an employee to ourselves. And we learned in Business Mastery, we want to go from operator to owner. We're not operating in our business. We're not working in our business, but working on our business.
Yes.
And it sounds like you've really achieved that.
I'm a work in progress. I'm much better than I was.
Always. That's wonderful. And so I was thinking too about, for those that are already in sales, because this is something that made me reach out to you too, because I was in a 3-day seminar recently all about like closing and things like that and sales. And it was so interesting. And I got so much great information the first day or day and a half. And then all of a sudden it came the close and the pitch. And and for those of you who don't know, there's a, what would you call it? It's a metrics. It's called DISC, the DISC profile. It's a DISC analysis, and it stands for four letters, DISC. And if you don't know what it is, look it up. It's super fascinating. I think you can find free links to be able to do a simple version of it to find out what your profile is. But it's basically it's a behavior, not a behavior assessment. It's a behavior assessment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's behavior. It's how people like to communicate and how they make decisions.
Yeah. So D is, help me out, I'm going to forget some. Dominant. I is influencer. S is
steady relator.
What is it?
Steady relator.
Steady relator. And then C is
conscientious.
Conscientious, because the last two I don't remember because I'm not those two. But so that's why. And I'm in a high D. I've heard there are only like 20% of people in the world are high D. And so I'm high D, but I'm high I and then D. And when I get into a stressful situation, my I drops and I get into D, and it's okay. I'm done like influencing and like trying to make everybody work and all this stuff go. I just got to get shit done here. So let's go. All right. Are you doing your thing? Let's go.
Yeah.
So I go into this whole I just goes away. So the I is someone who's really good at relating to people. And then the D is someone who just gets stuff done. In sales, this is so key. And not many people talk about this. And you and I have had this great conversation about using DISC to understand how to sell to people. Because when I bought a program, one of the most expensive programs I ever bought, I was buying from a high D about 4 years ago. And I saw her speak in a group, and I wanted to get on a call with her. I said, oh my God, I love this woman. She's quick. Because D's are like, boom, tell me this, just the facts. Let me know how much is it? What do I got to do? And I'm done. I don't need all the background and the testimonies and the spreadsheets and all the charts that tell me why it's great and all the analytics and analysis of everything. So this woman was like that, just the same. So I was in. I signed up, paid for it. Within an hour, I was in, and I did it. Other people like to have all the details. And so I was at this thing, I attended this virtual event, and it was, this is the grandfather, I won't say it, but it was like someone who has so much knowledge of sales and closing. And I was shocked because literally out of the 3 days, the first day and a half was great content. It was a paid event. Then the next day and a half, or that evening, and the whole next day was all sales. It was all testimonials. And they didn't give you a link I don't even think you got the link till the end of the night on Saturday night of the 3 days, like this into the second day. And so it was just, for somebody like me, I'm going like, oh my God. And we're all in a chat. We have a bunch of friends that are doing it together. And we're all in this chat going, like, just tell us how much it is. We'll do it. We just let it. And it was so painful. So I say all that to say, for someone, when you're doing this big, broad, and you're an experienced salesperson, how do you cater to everyone? There's different styles that you can get that process done. Is that even possible? And what's the general approach? How would you tell someone to approach something like that?
Yeah, it is possible. And it does take more finesse as a speaker. When you're one-to-one, it's easy to adapt to their personality type. If you're talking to a very analytical person, you know that, and you can be very detailed in your communication. But when you're talking to a whole room, you've got lots of people in there, and you have your D's, which I am. I think that's why we found each other. We're like, oh, there's another lion just like me. But you've got to cater to those people too. So I've done multiple six-figure launches. And I've been learning and doing that. And those are online, right? Where I have an audience of 100 people, and they're all different personality types. And for me, it's like, I'm going to give them a ton of value. For masterclass was 2 parts, 3 hours. I only spent the last 15 minutes of part 2, 15 minutes total across those 3 hours, talking about the program, the opportunity to work with me. And the reason I don't go on and on is because I've been in webinars like that, where they promise you're going to get a lot of content. I'm going to teach you the secrets of, how to sell or how to whatever, X, Y, or Z, and you don't learn anything. And then the rest of it is a pitch. And it's supposed to be 90 minutes, and it drags on for 2 hours and 20 minutes, and people start dropping off because they're irritated. So the way I look at it is, me spending more time pitching doesn't mean that more sales are going to come in. So I'm going to present the offer. I'll spend 15 minutes explaining what it is. I have a really good landing page that has all the details for those people that really want to see, okay, what are all the lessons? What am I going to learn? What am I going to get from this program? And the ones that don't usually will buy right away. But I offer a Q&A call for my conscientious personality types and my steady relators. And what I've noticed is, even though I offer bonuses I do like an early bird, if you enroll in the first 48 hours, there's a lot of great bonuses. And then enrollment's open for another 3 to 4 days. All of those introverted, the steady relator and the conscientious personality, those are both introverted. One of them cares more about really building trust. Do I like this woman? Is she going to be able to teach me? It has to feel good to them. The conscientious personality is fearful of making a mistake. So they've got to go through checking their boxes of, am I making a good decision? So for those two personality types, what I found is they will generally enroll probably the last day of enrollment, day before, like they're the stragglers. Nothing that you put out there will ever pressure those personality types into buying. There's no amount of pressure that you can apply. Early bird, even if it's $3,000 in bonuses, goes away tomorrow. They don't care. It has to feel right for the steady relator. And for the conscientious, they've got to go through their checklist of making sure they're not making a mistake. They're very analytical. So I solved that with a phone call, and go phone call or Zoom call and go run through all their questions. Because I also want to make sure, is it the right fit? Do they have the right expectations going into this? And I tell people, here's all the reasons why you shouldn't do this. Here's all the reasons why you will not be successful. And if I can give you all the disclaimers and you're still committed to it, I know you're really in. Those are the people that I want to work with. They go into it with eyes wide open. I know this is a little bit of a subtopic, but there's programs out there that speak to your ego. Oh, it's my XYZ plan that's going to help you close $100,000 of extra sales in 30 days. Is it though? It speaks to the ego. And then when people don't achieve these wild goals that a coach is putting out there, all of a sudden they think something's wrong with them. But the problem is the coach took some sales training program about put commitments out there and these big lofty goals, because people buy into that. Our ego says, oh, that's all I have to do. I'll pay money to get there. Where I take the opposite approach. It's like, I don't want people in my program with unrealistic expectations, because I don't want them beating themselves up for not being at a level they think they should be at. So here's eyes wide open. Here's what this looks like. It's going to be harder than you think it's going to be. It's going to take you longer than you think it's going to take. I will build you the ladder. All you have to do is climb it. You will never be without your questions answered. You will never be stuck as long as you communicate with me and let me know what you need help with. But you've got to put in the work. That's the only way this is going to work for you. And people trust me because of that. And then you create a community of people that really, they do well because this veil of pressure is lifted off of them from unrealistic expectations. Coaches make a lot of money selling on ego. And they have a lot of people that are like, yeah, I went through the program, but it just didn't really work for me. I don't want people like that. I want raving fans.
And I think you want raving fans, and what I hear is that you want people who sign up with you or who buy your product or service to win. And how many things have we all been to where I was at something recently, another event, and it was about how to basically, I did it because it was a friend that I knew and I didn't really need to, I just wanted to support, but I got there and it was about how to make money and how to fight the economy in spite of what's going on. And it was fantastic. It was like, the speakers were pretty good. I'm like, and there were a lot of young people in there. And I could see that what was obvious to me in some of the talks, they were getting something. I was like, this is great. What a great conference for them to have for young people. And then I came the sale and came the person. I realized, this is what the whole seminar was for, is to get people into this idea of being a financial advisor or being in this type of thing. And it was a mass pitch to everyone. It was kind of like the old days of Amway or something like that, where it's not everybody, or even for me, when my first time past at college, I was a music major, a voice major, and it's, oh yeah, they'll take your money to be into, oh, you can sing, sure, come on in. Yeah. No, you can't sing. That's what should have been told to me. No. So the point is that I think sometimes we forget that we really want the people that we are lining up, that we are pitching, or that we want to work with to win. And we feel better about ourselves. I'd feel better about myself than to say, oh my God, I just signed that person up for my dating program, but you know what? They're so busy. They're not going to have time to do this. But hey, I signed them up. I had a really good close. Woo, Jill, you're great. No, I feel like crap, because I'd be like, that person isn't ready. Why would I do that? Yeah. And that's actually how I started my matchmaking service years ago, is that I realized that the matchmaking service wasn't about matching people. It was that they needed coaching. I could send them on 100 dates and a lot of them weren't ready. They needed to be coached first to be ready to go out and have a successful date and have a relationship. And so I think that's what we want, is we want our people that we are working with, that are going to be a part of our lives, that we're going to be serving. We want them to win.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's this idea that if I don't do high pressure sales, if I don't sell this way, if I don't sell for a day and a half of a three-day seminar, I'm not going to hit my targets. I'm not going to make millions. This is how this guru does it. I've got to follow that exact plan or that exact path. You can have both. You can have high integrity in selling and make tons of money. And people think, I got to be somebody different when I sell. I got to flip on this switch of, now I got to be the dog and pony show and bring out the sales guns, and I got to wow people and tell them everything they want to hear to get them to buy from me. And for me, I'm proof of it. You can make a lot of money doing the exact opposite and feel better about your business. And I'm not laying awake at night worrying about clients who don't like me, who are upset about their lack of results in my program. I don't ever worry about that because I'm so careful about who I enroll and the disclaimers that I give them and what's required on their part to be successful. And I know that I always over deliver. So it just makes me feel better about my business. I'd rather have a business like that than one where I feel like I'm lying to people just to get them to buy.
I think you just hit something. I had an epiphany for myself, and maybe others will get served from this, is what you just said, is that why I might be afraid to sell for me in the past and things like that, is that I would fear that they would not be satisfied with what they bought. And so by doing it the way you're talking, I'm going to ensure that I'm going to have people who are going to be satisfied, because I'm not just selling to everyone. I am identifying, it's not a sales tactic or strategy to say, let me pre-qualify you and see if we're right for each other. A lot of people go, that's a manipulative tactic people use in sales. It's really true. It's like, I want to make sure we're aligned, like that you're going to be happy with what I have to offer. It's like, it's not a one-way street.
Yeah.
And I've got to make sure that you're going to be okay with me, and I'm going to be okay that I'm going to be able to serve you and it's going to work.
You can add that to the beginning of your conversation in that disarm step that I teach. You could say, after you give them permission to say no if it's not the right fit, are you going to be okay telling me that? And then you might say, I'm very particular about who I decide to work with because I only want to work with people that I know that I can help. And if I can't help you, I'm going to tell you that. Are you okay with that? If we get to that point. And it's exactly what you just said. I want to make sure the people that I work with, I know I can make an impact. And at the same time, they have to do the work. But business feels better to me. I'm more excited about it when I have integrity in everything that I do. And I'm not stressed over the people that don't end up buying from me. Because I'm like, maybe I wasn't the right fit. And on the way out, it's God, help them find the program that they need to build their business. Not offended they didn't work with me, bless them on the way out. And it's that energy, I believe, that really brings in abundance, less stress, more peace, more happiness in your business. This has been such a journey for me the last 2 years. I wasn't always like this, but it's a daily practice to get your head in the right space for growing your business.
You're such a blessing to so many and me. And I just so wanted to share you and with the world, with those that watch and are able to have a different mindset and a shift on sales and on how to just be kind to people in general. And that we're taking the ickiness out of sales and really making it truly that it's a gift and it's an offer and it's a calling. It's a real calling, because if we don't, I always say about speaking up and using your voice is that I believe that every person on this planet has a message to share that someone needs to hear. And every day you don't share that message, someone's suffering. And so that could be applied to sales as well, because really, how many people are missing out on an opportunity that I might have to offer them because I'm saying I don't like to sell? And that's not right. And I am withholding, and I'm not honoring my calling by not doing that, because I have this hang up in my head about what sales is.
I love that. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. I have one more question, and it's something that occurred to me since we were talking about how someone who's saying, yes, I want to sign up with Keeley, I want to talk to Keeley, I love her processes, and there are great free resources if you can't for sure, for real, afford to work with her. She does have a great podcast and also great posts on Instagram and social media. And I've seen some of her interviews on YouTube, other interviews. But I think I want them to also walk away saying, but there's so much noise about a process I have to follow. Like you just said, there's a process. Like we have all of these different ways of doing funnels and sales letters. And I get so desensitized to that personally when I get my inbox and my emails start filling up, or my WhatsApp groups are all filling up with webinars. And we all know the process. You write a talk and then you do a webinar and do the close and the whole thing. Is that I'm almost like desensitized to that now. I don't even want to do those because it's like my eyes glaze over. Is that the only way, or are there ways to do sales that we can? How do we get out of the noise? Like, where if I want to sell something, and how do I set myself apart where I'm unique and I'm not just in that noise of all I don't want to name company names, but there are funnels and different things that are going on where I'm just another person doing what I'm doing.
I think that you can't worry about what everybody else is doing. You've got to find something that works for you. And it may not align with this funnel or that funnel. Like I just came back from a conference full of hundreds of creators and coaches, and I learned a lot, but I really was disciplined in, okay, that sounds really cool. I'm going to sideline that for 2024 because we can really get distracted by shiny objects, whether it's a new funnel. Oh, I should follow this webinar path. Oh, they did this. And we fall into a trap of, I got to learn more. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And what I got out of this was you have to take action. Whatever you're doing, just do something, move forward, launch it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. You're never going to find the perfect system or the perfect funnel. You figure out what works for you and you keep improving it and you make it better. The way that I sell online in terms of programs and like some launches that I've done is very different today than how I did it a year and a half ago. And I made really good money a year and a half ago, but I'm like, oh, wow, I learned something from that. Let me tweak it a little bit and let's see how this one goes. And I just look at everything like it's a test. I'm going to test this and see how it goes. And I'm not tied to or attached to anything because there's no perfect funnel, perfect process. You have to figure out what works for you and what your ideal client responds to, and keep showing up and keep putting your message out there in free organic content where people are like, man, Jill could really help me. I should reach out to her. And turn off the noise of don't sign up for the next masterclass. Don't get it. Don't download the next PDF of the perfect email funnel that you got to use.
Yes,
right?
stop talking about me.
Just take action and just do it. Just write one. Brendan Burchard said that at the Kajabi conference I was at. And he said, it doesn't matter what the economy is. The people that will win are the ones that are taking action. And the ones that are sitting back and trying the next thing and getting distracted by shiny objects and trying to perfect everything are the ones that are not putting their business out there and launching it. He said, you'll perfect it over time. Just launch it. Just get it out there and start taking action. And you feel less overwhelmed when you start taking action. It may not be perfect, but whatever. I'm going to test this and let's see how it goes. So I have to unsubscribe from a lot of things that I have opted into that I'm like, oh, I should. And I'm like, no, Keeley, that's the shiny object thing pulling you in. I'm like, table that for next year. That's not the focus right now. So it's getting really disciplined in that.
That's really brilliant because there's so many things we can sign up for, so many things. And I had this epiphany a couple of years ago when I was talking to a friend, is all this training we do through Tony Robbins and other groups that I'm in, and you and are in as well, is that we always feel like we're not there yet. There's something we have to learn. Soon we're going to be where we need to be. I was getting ready in the morning and I was at a seminar actually at a retreat in a mastermind, and I was getting ready to go out and go to another training. And it was like, Jill, wait a minute, you've graduated. Look at all the stuff you've done already. Like, you are there. And the word graduated to me just hit me so hard because I just finished my platinum partner year. And it was like, you finished that. You did that. Complete. Like, there's no, I'm not done yet. It's no, you are done. Now you can go get a different advanced degree, but you accomplished that, or you accomplished something. So I love saying that to myself. It's just, Jill, you graduated. You're good.
Yeah.
Now go do it. There's nothing else. You don't have to learn more. It's just more of the same, repeated differently sometimes, or worded differently, and it shows up in a different time. And it does cause, for me, a lot of stress and overwhelm and anxiety, because it feels like there's this fear of not doing it right, or not doing it the way everybody else is doing it, or am I doing it the modern way now with the new technology? Am I not up to speed? Am I not going to be relevant? And I just have really tried to quiet that noise this year for real. So that's funny you said that, because that is what I'm doing, is saying I'm not signing up for anything else. I'm going to just use what I've applied and trust myself that it's there.
Yeah.
Use my gut and just go, you know what? I don't care if this is the way I'm supposed to do it. What am I seeing that really seems right? And what am I leaning into that feels good, that is fun? What's fun for me are these interviews. I don't want to dig into the whole thing about all the other stuff, because that's where I keep resisting that. Big programs, I don't want to, that's resisting. So why am I keep resisting? Why am I doing that? It's, oh, maybe I'm not supposed to right now. Not ever, not right now.
Yeah.
I'm leaning into what I feel good about, and what is fun, and what feels easy, and what flows.
I love that. And it is so much about, what do I want to do? I've seen lots of, funnels and master classes and the way other people do stuff. I'm like, I don't really like that. I want to do it this way. And I found great success doing it this way, not because it's the perfect formula, but it's because I just took action and did it. That was a lot of it, was just showing up. And I think a lot of times we'll hide. I've totally did this. Got to read another book, got to take another course, need another master class, need another program. And we convince ourselves that we're making progress in our business because we're learning stuff, when really we're scared of launching it because we're fearful that nobody's going to buy. Nobody's going to show up. Nobody's going to care. So we get really creative in our hiding. And for me, it was reading the next book, buying the next program, learning the next thing. And I think God got so fed up with me that he just started sending me clients where I had no time to do all this stuff over here. Oh, I actually got to launch something. So I think every business owner goes through it, but take action and then tweak it from there. It's never going to be perfect, but you'll find something you love and you really enjoy.
That is the word. That is it. Take action, because it's so true. That's what when I finally did do the channel here, it was like, okay, now I've got something to work on. I have something I can, as my former business partner who I interviewed recently, Preston Brown, we were talking about that, is you have to have movement, because you can't measure what's not moving. You got to be able to measure and see things and track and look at what you said is like testing. It's like experimenting. Oh, okay, let's see how this is working. Okay, that's interesting. That didn't work as well. Let me see if we can do it differently next time. And that's fun. That's when it gets exciting. But it's that analysis and anticipating and watching and trying to see the plays without actually being on the field. For me, I really beat myself up when I'm sitting there on the sidelines, like with your podcast, is sitting on the sidelines and going, yeah, okay, now if I were to be on the field, I'm going to probably do it like this. And this is how I'm going to go like this. And then I'm going to do that. I'm going to go read another book and figure out a better play. Let's see. Okay, now I've got to play. All right. Yeah. Then I could modify it like this. Man, that feels like crap, because I know I should be on that field. I'm sitting there still working in the playbook.
Yeah, I know.
I will rip myself to shreds emotionally, mentally, and go, you need to be on that field. What are you doing? What are you sitting there?
Yeah, I saw a quote that said, there's people out there that are making millions upon millions of dollars that have half of the talent that you have simply because they believed they could, and so they did. And that is as simple as that. Half the talent that are making millions because they believed it was possible and they took action on it. And I was like, man, all right. Thank you for that, Lord. Time to move forward. Gives me these little gentle slaps. Come on, like, I've given you this talent. Can you please just share it? Just take action. There's people that are struggling that need your help. And if we can look at, it's like you said earlier, that's like such a responsibility. It's heavy to share with the world what God has blessed us with. Everything we've been through in our life becomes a part of somebody else's survival book. And it's our job to share the message, no matter how we feel about it, how scared we are. Just share it and let God take care of the rest.
And you know what's funny, when we really align with our purpose and we do share that message in some way, or share that gift that we've been given, the purpose, it feels really good once we do it.
Yeah.
Whatever fear we have on the sidelines, trying to anticipate what's going to happen, that's not even there once we're on the field. We are actually really, we'll get knocked down, we'll get some things happening, but there's nothing more joyous and nothing more that flows more and feels more right than when we're in alignment with what we're called to do. And if we don't know what we're called to do, there's a lot we can talk about there, and reach out about that, because I've done a lot of studying on that. I have some great speakers that help with that I've watched on YouTube that I'll be happy to share with listeners. But it's just how to find your purpose is so good. And when you know it, once you find it, it's, you know what it is. We all know what it is inside. And I think a lot of times we just hide behind it because we're afraid of how big we can actually be if we did stand in our power of what we were given.
Yes.
And it feels good when we get out there and use it.
Yes, it does. I love that.
Yeah.
You're amazing, Jill. I'm so glad
me too. Thank you so much. And I want to, again, the podcast, we'll put it in the description, the links, and then also get your website, put your website in there so people can reach out to you and find either one-on-one coaching with you, or your social media, or even your program that you have for high ticket sales. That is incredible, in a way that's with integrity, sales with integrity, and wanting your clients to win. Not just trying to get another notch in your belt. It's actually really, really having that integrity where you can sleep at night and say, these clients, really, I'm serving them, and I know, and I feel confident in that, and they're happy with me. They're raving fans.
Yes.
That's what we all want, really.
Yes. Amen to that.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. All right. So please share and subscribe to the channel, and definitely check out Keeley. You'll see her links, and stay tuned for more coming soon. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Stay connected.